Nike laid off hundreds of employees at distribution centers earlier this year. Sales of Converse plunged 30% in the latest quarter. Stocks in two big TV station owners are rallying today after President Trump threw his support behind the deal. He initially came out against the merger of Nexstar Media and Tegna last fall. It would require a change to an FCC rule barring any local television station owner from serving more than 39% of the country. A combined Nexstar-Tegna would reach up to 80% of U.S. households. The CEO of Chipotle, Scott Boatwright, was reportedly caught on a recording saying the company plans to keep raising prices after learning that 60% of its core buyers earn more than $100,000 a year. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
Bad Boy Mowers' legendary reputation for build strength, performance, and value is now available with Bad Boy tractors. From mid-size to subcompact models, powered by 22 to 35 horsepower water-cooled diesel engines, your tractor work just got real. Easy on the farm, the ranch, or even around the house. Bad Boy tractors deliver on power and durability all day, every day.
Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales is your Bad Boy tractor dealer in Sequim.
Bad Boy tractors work with an attitude.
At McCrory Carpet One, they sell more than just carpet. If you walk on it, they carry it. Hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, stone, and more. Plus, experience their award-winning installation service on everything they sell. Because McCrory's sells more flooring than anyone else on the peninsula, and Carpet One stores sell more flooring nationally than anyone, they can say always priced right and always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, let's head up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center, and that is where Steve's standing by. He's checking the roads for us this noon hour now. Good afternoon, Steve.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good out there in the Port Angeles Sequim area right now as traffic is making its way through town. Not too awful bad out there. Kind of light, steady traffic right now through both cities. Things are moving along reasonably well, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. If you're on 101 between Port Angeles and Sequim, no problems there. Light, moderate traffic out there as well. A little busy leaving the Port Angeles area between the Baker Street area and, say, the Morris Creek curve. So once you get past that, eases up pretty much and shouldn't be much of a problem making your way to Sequim. If you're headed beyond that, no real problems with the Hood Canal Bridge. Nothing scheduled this afternoon as far as marine openings. If you're headed on the state ferries, they are running pretty much on time this afternoon. West End traffic, we're looking good all the way out to the Forks area. Roads are in good shape. Still light traffic out there and moving along at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
All right, thank you, Steve. Your weather forecast does call for things to be partly sunny the rest of the day today. Might see a little rain again later this afternoon. Highs will be in the mid-40s to low 50s. Cloudy tonight. Chance of rain through the evening and into tomorrow morning. Lows mid to upper 30s. Then mostly sunny after a chance of rain in the morning on Tuesday. And highs will be in the 40s on Tuesday. Right now across the North Peninsula, down in the East End in Port Townsend, they're at 46 degrees. Out west, 48 in Forks. Sequim now at 49, and it's 46 degrees out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny makes history as the first Spanish-only performer to headline a Super Bowl halftime show, a stage made to look like a sugarcane field.
No help is coming.
The survival thriller Send Help was #1 in North American box office ticket sales. Second weekend, $10 million.
I was just trying to be funny.
Okay, I keep trying.
The Kevin James romantic comedy Solo Mio debuted in second place with $7.2 million. The documentary Melania added 300 theaters in its second weekend, but dropped to 10th place in ticket sales. Paul Thomas Anderson won the top prize at Saturday's Directors Guild Awards for One Battle After Another, a reliable predictor for the Best Director Oscar. One Battle After Another is already a frontrunner for Best Picture. And happy birthday to actor Michael B. Jordan.
I've been all over this world.
The Sinners and Creed star turns 39 today. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
If you're someone who is living with chronic pain, your instinct might be to limit your movement and exercise. That's understandable, but it's not inevitable. Strength training can be one of the most effective tools for easing discomfort and improving everyday function. That's according to Dana Santis, a certified strength and conditioning specialist. The best way is to ease your way into this, she says. That's with isometric movements, when you engage the muscles around a joint without moving them. Think of things like planks or wall sits. From there, you can go to slow tempo movements, like body weight squats, up and down for counts of 5. And then if you're still feeling good, try progressing to push-ups, or pick up a resistance band, or maybe even some free weights. The key is this: start low, go slow, build your way up. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
It's impossible to have a bad day when you started with Chick-fil-A.
Hi, I'm Miles.
And this is Grant.
And the little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is
how the fluffy, crispy goodness wakes us up in the morning. The chicken is crispy, the biscuit is soft, it's iconic.
Throw some jelly on it, you can throw some honey on it. It helps me kick off the day.
The hash browns are great. And I really like the shape of them too. Little circles of crispy goodness. Yeah, those early morning chicken biscuits are just great, man.
Mornings are a little bit brighter with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit and Simply Orange Juice. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. The story is told of an old man sitting on his porch and his hound dog lying beside him just howling away. Why was he howling? I'll tell you that story after this important message.
Hello, Jerry Stewart here for Liberty Village. Are you looking for a way to bring your family together and to explore America's founding values without even leaving home? Liberty Village now sends free monthly founding values, family lessons, powerful lessons, straight to your inbox. Each month, your family will receive a new story with fun activities and enjoy hands-on projects inspired by real moments in American history, like George Washington's daring crossing of the Delaware to win a crucial battle. Sign up today at libertyvillage.org/education. That's libertyvillage.org/education. Bring history home with your family. See you there.
The story is told of an old man and his hound dog sitting on their porch, and the hound dog won't stop howling. Finally, one passerby asked the old man, "Sir, why is your hound dog howling?" "Simple," he said. "He's lying on a nail." "Well, why doesn't he get up and move?" The old man's reply, "I guess it just doesn't hurt enough yet." My question to you today is this: how bad are things going to get in America before we the people do something? How long are we willing to take the pain before we stand up and say enough? How bad does the nail hurt that you're lying on? Think about it. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
If it's time for new asphalt paving for your dirt, gravel, or damaged driveway, now's the time to call Lakeside Industries for a free estimate. They've been serving this community since 1982 with city, county, and highway projects, of course. But did you know that they do residential and commercial grading, paving, and stormwater too? Well, they're scheduling spring and summer jobs right now, and no job is too small. Just call Lakeside Industries, 452-7803, or lakesideindustries.com.
Hey, it's Trina here at West Alder Storage in Sequim. Are you needing additional storage? Boy, do we have a great deal for you. $20 off your monthly fee, and with our Seahawks Super Bowl 60 special going on, you can get $60 off your first 2 months. Wow, $60 off. So if you're in the need of storage, give me a call at West Alder Storage. 683-9497. Again, 683-9497.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-248-1598. 800-248-1598. 800-248-1598. That's 800-248-1598.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The world's biggest social media companies face several landmark trials this year, seeking to hold them responsible for any harm done to children using those platforms. Here's correspondent Haya Panjawi.
Opening arguments for the first one in Los Angeles County Superior Court begin this week. Instagram parent company Meta and Google's YouTube will face claims that their platforms deliberately addict and harm children. TikTok and Snap, which were originally named in the lawsuit, settled for an undisclosed amount. This case is the first time the companies will argue their cases before a jury, and the outcome could have profound effects on their businesses and how they handle children using their platforms moving forward. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Republicans and Democrats remain bitterly divided over federal agents wearing masks. Congress working to avert another partial government shutdown, which would kick in at midnight this Friday unless they can come to terms on new funding for the Department of Homeland Security. But Democrats are insisting on a number of major changes in the way that ICE carries out its immigration enforcement duties. Economist Steve Moore predicts the 2030 U.S. Census is going to have some bad news for blue states, those run by Democrats. He says California, for example, has a declining population and one that could result in a loss of 4 congressional seats. Same story in New York.
This next census, which comes in 2030, California could lose 4 congressional seats. Now think about that. This is a state for the last 150 years has always gained electoral states as it grew and grew and grew. And under Gavin Newsom, they've lost over 2.5 million residents on net.
Economist Stephen Moore spoke with the Salem Radio Network this week. Right now on Wall Street, all the major indexes back into positive territory. The Dow is up 60 points at this hour. The NASDAQ up 242. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, equal housing lender, NMLS number 819382.
Vice President J.D. Vance landed in Armenia today. That's a country that no sitting U.S. Vice President or President has ever visited before. This happens now as the Trump administration is offering economic opportunities while it works to advance a U.S. brokered deal aimed at ending a decades-long conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Vance says the peace agreement between those two would be a great vision.
Peace is not made by cautious people. Peace is not made by people who are too focused on the past. Peace is made by people who are focused on the future.
And Vice President Vance says as part of Armenia's future involves importing advanced computer chips and other technology from the United States.
That means new markets for American workers and for American businesses, but it also means greater prosperity for the people of Armenia. These are chips that simply do not exist in most countries in the world. They are now going to be developed.
More on these stories at townhall.com. Nurses in two major hospital systems in New York City have reached a deal to end a nearly month-long strike over staffing levels, workplace safety, and other issues. The tentative agreement announced today involves Montefiore and Mount Sinai hospital systems.
The walkout began January 12th. The nurses union says the deal with the two hospitals covers about 10,500 of the 15,000 striking nurses. It includes a 12% pay raise over 3 years, health benefits with no additional out-of-pocket costs, new protections against workplace violence, and AI safeguards. It still needs to be approved by union members. A vote is expected this week. The hospitals had to hire legions of temporary nurses to fill in. They say care was not affected. Julie Walker, New York.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the News Radio KONP Noon Report.
It's outdoor time for the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Monday, February 9th. Trial begins today in Clallam County Superior Court in the case of a Jefferson County man charged in connection with the death of Sequim resident Richard Medeo. 36-year-old Aaron Fisher faces a second-degree murder charge stemming from the May 6th incident in the 500 block of West Washington Street in Sequim. Fisher was initially arrested at the scene and charged with second-degree assault, but was later released after those charges were dropped. But after Medeo died, the case was reviewed by the Clallam County Prosecutor's Office. The King County Medical Examiner ruled the death a homicide. That led to the upgraded charges. Fisher was arrested again July 23rd at a residence in the SeaTac area by Sequim Police, assisted by the King County Special Investigations Unit. All three license plate reader cameras in Port Angeles have been shut off and removed from service following public concerns about their use. City Manager Nathan West said the decision was made Friday after an increase in questions from residents. In an email to City Council, West said the cameras were turned off and uninstalled out of an abundance of caution following a discussion with Police Chief Brian Smith. The cameras will remain offline while city leaders take more time to review the issue and decide whether license plate readers should be used in the community. A work session originally set for February 17th at City Council's meeting has been postponed to allow staff to evaluate the concerns. City officials also note the timing comes as the state legislature debates new laws for license plate reader technology. Senate Bill 6002, which would regulate how the cameras can be used and how data is handled, passed the Senate earlier in the week. Last week, it's now before the House. City staff say the Port Angeles cameras will stay removed until the legislature completes its review and the City Council provides next step directions. Search teams in Olympic National Park have recovered a body believed to be that of 26-year-old Alicia Bulia, a St. Louis woman who went missing in November during a solo trip. Park officials have not officially confirmed the identity in line with policy requiring a 72-hour notification period from next of kin. However, Bulia's mother, April, confirmed to other media the remains are her daughter's. Bulia flew to Port Angeles November 6th for a nature getaway. She last contacted her family around November 18th, and her rental car was later found near the Solduk trailhead. Her body was recovered on February 6th in the nearby Solduk Valley. Authorities have not disclosed a cause of death. Bulia's mother previously raised concerns about items found in the vehicle, including camping gear, food, and equipment tied to a park maintenance worker. That individual was questioned but not identified as a suspect. The investigation continues. City of Port Angeles has been awarded a $109,000 grant from the State Department of Commerce to support salmon recovery efforts tied to city planning. The funding will be used to develop an urban forestry program focused on managing trees along stream corridors inside city limits. The goal is to improve salmon habitat while maintaining a healthy tree canopy. Natural Resources and Grant Administrator for the city, Courtney Barnsworth, says the program will coordinate work across multiple city departments.
So I think one of the key takeaways from this grant is it gives us an opportunity to work across departments towards a goal that is pretty important for not just the planning department, but also our public works department and our parks and recreation department, so that we can take a more holistic approach to how we look at our urban forest and how that relates to salmon habitat as a whole.
Barnsworth says well-known projects along Ennis and Lees Creeks will be part of the effort, but the work will extend to additional streams throughout Port Angeles.
We have White Creek, Valley Creek, we have Tumwater Creek, Peabody Creek, and then all the way out on the west side of town, we have Dry Creek that runs through a portion of town as well.
The project expected to begin immediately, starting with hiring a consultant to assess stream conditions and the health of the city's tree canopy. The work is expected to continue through spring of next year. More news after this.
Hi, this is Drew from Anime Cat in downtown Port Angeles. Winter's starting to freeze and it's time to stay inside and have fun. Anime Cat has card games, board games, family games, video games, and the largest selection of anime and manga on the Olympic Peninsula. Looking for something new to try? Ask about our board game rental library or join one of our in-store events. Want a quiet night at home or a social night out? Anime Cat has options for both. Stop in and find your next hobby at Anime Cat. We're open every day a half block west of the downtown Port Angeles fountain.
It's time for your Port of PA Today.
Hello, this is Port Commissioner Connie Beaufay. The Port of Port Angeles continues to keep busy, attracting even more business and jobs to our area. We've been sharing the exciting news about the new aviation company, Citizen Air, expanding operations at Fairchild. The port also welcomes Port Angeles Composite, a subsidiary of Honda Aircraft Company, developing operations with their purchase of ACTI. This news brings the potential for new, well-paying jobs as Port Angeles Composites expands its business of manufacturing composite aircraft parts. We're also delighted about Brix Marine, growing its production capacity and broadening their range of products. By committing to our area's future, the great companies working with the port are transforming how our county will connect with the world beyond.
This has been your Port of PA Today.
In other news, let's check in with Sandy Keys and his weekend wrap-up.
It was a weekend of possible record breakers, and again, as the White House might have said, such as the world has never seen before. That a little later. With auto accidents, no record breakers there, in spite of bad driving conditions, including rain, fog, and that Baker Dip stretch of highway, just 4 recorded as of 4 o'clock yesterday morning. They were at Washington and Priest Road Squim, again, and Port Williams Road and North Brown Road Squim, again. In Port Angeles, crashes were heard at Fairchild Road and Airport Road, automobile crashes, and Deer Park Road and View Ridge Drive. There were 2 known suicide attempts or threats in Greater Port Angeles, and with simple threats, 2 residents couldn't help noticing threats to their well-being, both in Port Angeles at South Peabody and along Deer Park Road. Some other threats evolved into harassment, but only one led to assault at a West Hendrickson Squim address. And now, regarding those events, the likes of which the world has never seen before, that's probably an exaggeration, but we did record unusually high numbers unseen by us before, such as domestic violence over the weekend, 5 of them, 2 in Port Angeles, 3 in Squim, 4 burglaries, 2 in Port Angeles, 1 in Forks, 1 in Squim, and we had 12 thefts, a possible record, and 3 of those were car thefts, another possible record. The vehicles were purloined from East 2nd, East 9th, and West 5th. Weekend welfare checks remained about normal, but building checks by already busy Port Angeles and Squim police went right off the charts. There were 8 in the first hour and a half of Friday. There were 13 more in the first hour and a half of Saturday, and by Sunday morning, they had done 19 more. And with all of that, they still made time to do bar checks in Squim and in Forks. I'm sure with the unanimous approval of all the habitués of those bars. There were wives of habitués, daughters of habitués, sons of, well, same as the others. Sandy Keys, KONP Local News.
Thanks, Sandy. This is News Radio KONP.
Hi, this is John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company. If you're interested in a metal roof, prices are going up across the country, but we receive volume discounts through the manufacturer, and we pass that savings on to you. Act now and call 360-208-2222. Financing is available.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, we're tackling a conversation that affects every family, planning ahead for medical decisions. Jeanette Stair-Green from Volunteer Hospice, retired oncologist Dr. Tom Cummett, and OMC-ER physician Dr. Paul Craven will talk about life-sustaining treatments, advanced directives, and how to clearly communicate your wishes.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running.
Oh, you got punched. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
How badly were you injured, Tim?
I have a detached retina.
You have a detached retina because of you getting punched? Hold on. Stop.
Yeah.
You have a detached retina. Were there witnesses that saw you getting hit?
Yes, sir.
You got a case. There. Oh, yeah. No, there's a case there. There's a case, if anybody believes you. There's a case.
Catch Handle on the Law Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Radio KONP.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance for isolated rain showers. Daytime highs approaching 48, easterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight, chance for rain 36. Slight chance of rain tomorrow. Highs around 46. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Partly cloudy skies Wednesday with highs in the upper 40s. Chance for rain Thursday. Taking a look at the extended forecast. 45 Friday, 44 Saturday, and 43 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 48.
Robert Workman's take on sports is next.
Super Bowl 60 on Sunday in Santa Clara, California. The Seahawks slammed the Patriots 29-13. The game dominated by defense. Seattle had a slight advantage early, kicking 4 field goals for a 12-0 lead through the end of the third quarter. Then their D really flexed its muscles. Drake May was strip-sacked. 5 plays later, Sam Darnold found A.J. Barner for the game's first touchdown. May got New England on the board with a 35-yard scoring strike to Mac Hollins, but then was picked off on the Pats' next 2 possessions, the former setting up Jason Myers' record 5th field goal, the latter a pick-6 by Uchenna Nwosu. In all, May had 3 turnovers and was sacked 6 times. Seattle running back Kenneth Walker was the MVP. He had 135 yards on 27 carries. He outgained the entire New England offense in the first half. At the Super Bowl pregame show, otherwise known as the Winter Olympics in Italy, it was a bittersweet day for Team USA skiing. Breezy Johnson won the women's downhill by 4/100ths of a second, becoming just the second U.S. woman to do that. The first was Lindsey Vonn. She clipped a gate with her shoulder yesterday, pinwheeling down the slope, and had to be airlifted off the mountain. She had surgery last night for a broken left leg. That's the same leg on which she ruptured her ACL in training. In figure skating, the U.S. defended its team gold medal. 2-time defending world champion Ilya Malinin did not break out his quadruple axel, but he did land 5 quad jumps as the U.S. edged Japan by 1 point.
I feel so great. This event was just so on fire. It was like the environment, just the atmosphere.
Those were the first medals for the U.S. at this year's games. Host Italy stands atop the table with 9 medals. NBA Sunday wins for the Knicks, Heat, Raptors, and Clippers. That's Monday Sports.
Cambridge defines culture as the way of life. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and the way of life for us starts with exceptional customer service, which is at the heart of the Wilder Advantage. When you combine committed, factory-trained sales and service people, some of the best brands on the planet, state-of-the-art facilities, and our eye-on-the-horizon culture, well, why would you go anywhere else? We would love to earn your business, so stop by and check us out at 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
It's time for your monthly Market Minute with critical insights from local real estate pro May Graves.
If you lose more money at the closing table than you saved by skipping the realtor, did you actually save anything at all? Hi, I'm May Graves with Real Estate Market Pros. In 2024, for sale by owner home sales accounted for only 6% of all homes sold, according to National Association of Realtors. But in 2025, that figure dropped even more to 5%, the lowest on record. But wait, there's more. According to NAR, it was also reported in the 2025 data that for sale by owner homes sold roughly for 18% less than sellers who used an agent. And they still had to do all the work of showing their home to potentially unqualified buyers and navigate complex contracts. If you're thinking about selling and curious about the process, call me. It's May Graves, Real Estate Market Pros. 360-461-1922.
The Ramsey Show.
Not one piece of data says that where you went to school indicates your increased probability of success.
That's right.
Not one. Lots of failures at life. Went to Harvard, to Yale, went to MIT.
That's true.
And they completely flunked out at life. I went to that school, and because they played football well, I am successful. What?
Catch The Ramsey Show from 2 to 4 Monday through Friday on your local information station, News Radio KONP.
News Radio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Converse employees were told to work from home ahead of layoffs and restructuring at the struggling Nike brand. A note from its CEO says Converse has to make difficult decisions, which will include saying bye to friends and teammates. Nike laid off hundreds of employees at distribution centers earlier this year. Sales of Converse plunged 30% in the latest quarter. Stocks in two big TV station owners are rallying today after President Trump threw his support behind the deal. He initially came out against the merger of Nexstar Media and Tegna last fall. It would require a change to an FCC rule barring any local television station owner from serving more than 39% of the country. A combined Nexstar-Tegna would reach up to 80% of U.S. households. The CEO of Chipotle, Scott Boatwright, was reportedly caught on a recording saying the company plans to keep raising prices after learning that 60% of its core buyers earn more than $100,000 a year. Matt Piper, Bloomberg Radio.
Get a last check of the noontime traffic next.
The President's Day sale at Angelus Furniture will save you hundreds and hundreds. A new Sealy adjustable mattress set will let you walk away saving up to $400. A Tempur-Pedic adjustable set will save you up to $500. And a Stearns & Foster adjustable mattress and base set will keep $800 in your pocket. Now is the time, and Angelus Furniture is the place. Save big bucks during the President's Day sale through February 24th.
Pardon me, excuse me. Frequent bathroom breaks getting in the way? It may be time to see a urologist. Our skilled urology team at Olympic Medical Center is ready to see you. Whether you're dealing with prostate problems, incontinence, or a feeling that you always need to go, a referral from your doctor to an OMC urologist is just what you need. Learn more today at olympicmedical.org/urology.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Right back up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go, and that's where Steve's standing by watching the roads for us this noon hour. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we're still doing good out there. If you're on the commute in either Port Angeles or Sequim, you shouldn't have too much problems making your way around this afternoon. Traffic, steady out there, but it is moving along pretty smoothly. Really haven't had any issues getting around town today. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, busy out there as well, especially the east end of Port Angeles through our construction area out to about the Morris Creek area. Pretty busy through that section. Once you get past that, though, it pretty much clears out, and then things are moving along much smoother out there. If you're headed beyond the Sequim area, Hood Canal Bridge currently good to go with nothing scheduled so far this afternoon, and state ferries pretty much running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, we're looking good all the way out to the Forks area. No real issues out there. Still kind of light traffic. Things moving right along at the speed limit, and the roads are in good shape. So everybody take care. Be safe out there. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Partly sunny the rest of the day today. Could see a rain shower or two again late this afternoon. Highs mid-40s to lower 50s. Cloudy tonight with a chance of rain overnight into tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid to upper 30s. And then mostly sunny on the way for Tuesday with a slight chance of rain in the morning and highs in the 40s. Right now across the North Peninsula, Port Townsend in the east end at 47. It's also 47 out west at Forks. Sequim now checking in at 50 degrees, and out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles, it is 46 degrees. Well, lawmakers don't see anything that's humorous about laughing gas being sold to kids, and there's a move to significantly reduce its retail availability in Washington state. Dan Frizzell fills us in.
This came my way from a constituent who is concerned about recreational nitrous oxide being used particularly by youth and teens and young adults. These are products being sold over the counter.
That's Representative Joe Timmons, sponsor of legislation that would prohibit sales of highly intoxicating nitrous oxide in Washington with carve-outs for legitimate commercial and industrial, medical, or veterinary purposes. It's the increasing marketing to and use by young people, evidenced by a container of Skittle-flavored nitrous oxide the Whatcom County Democrat bought at a convenience store, that the bill targets. Timmons, who serves as Deputy Speaker of the House in Olympia, has drawn bipartisan support for his House Bill 2532.
Unfortunately, it's real. We are on the front edge of a public health crisis. These products are flavored and marketed to young folks. This is a public health bill, and this is a public safety bill, and I really hope we're able to get it across the finish line this year.
Timmons' bill was supported in its public hearing by tribes, public health experts, and the Attorney General's office on the way to unanimous committee endorsement. If approved by the full House by March 17th, it'll move to the Senate for further action in the current session. In Olympia, Dan Frizzell.
Picture this. You walk into the office, and half your coworkers are whispering into microphones on their desks. Nope, they haven't lost it. They've ditched the keyboard. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. AI is here, and companies using it are ahead. If your revenue exceeds 7 figures, get their free guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/Kim. AI-powered voice-to-text has gotten good enough that people are dictating emails, reports, even code by talking. One tool leading the charge is called Flow from a startup called Whisper. It works across any app, Slack, Gmail, ChatGPT, and strips out your ums, uhs, and those filler words. The pitch? Most of us talk way faster than we type. Whisper raised $81 million, so somebody believes this is the future. But is it awkward talking to your computer in a quiet office? Yes. But remember when AirPods came out and people were walking and talking around in the air? We got over it. We'll get over this too. I'm giving away $7,000 right now. Enter to win. Go to winfromkim.com. Every business is asking the same question. How do we make AI work for us? The possibilities are endless, and guessing is way too risky. Sitting on the sidelines is not an option. Your competitors are already making their move. This is exactly the solution I turn to. With NetSuite by Oracle, you can put AI to work today. As the #1 AI cloud ERP, trusted by over 43,000 businesses, it brings your financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM together into one single source of truth, making your AI smarter. It doesn't guess, it knows. It automates routine tasks, delivers insights, cuts costs, and powers fast AI decisions. Now with NetSuite's AI Connector, you can take the AI you already trust and connect it straight to your business. This is not another add-on tool. It's built into the system that runs your business. NetSuite helps you stay ahead. If your revenues are at least 7 figures, get their free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim.
I'm John Tesh, and coming up, it's normal for our brains to be full of unproductive chatter that drives us nuts, especially right before bed. But in a moment, I'll tell you how to reframe your thoughts to help silence that chatter. It's next in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Alrighty, here and now I have a solution for a racing mind. Neuroscientist Dr. Ethan Kross is the author of the book Chatter, The Voice in Our Head, Why It Matters, and How to Harness It. Dr. Kross recommends a technique called distanced self-talk, where you simply talk to yourself as if you're talking to a friend. So, for example, instead of thinking, I really messed up, what am I going to do? Try thinking, she messed up, but I'm confident she can fix things. It sounds weird, but it works. Dr. Kross puts it, most of us find it easier to offer advice to someone else than to ourselves. By distancing ourselves from the problem and treating it like it's someone else's, we're better able to use logic. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
This afternoon on the Todd Ortloff Show, we're tackling a conversation that affects every family, planning ahead for medical decisions. Jeanette Stair-Green from Volunteer Hospice, retired oncologist Dr. Tom Cummett, and OMC-ER physician Dr. Paul Craven will talk about life-sustaining treatments, advanced directives, and how to clearly communicate your wishes.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running.
Hi, this is Clallam PUD. If you're always on the go, you'll love our Smart Hub mobile app. You can pay your bill, report outages or other problems, and unlock new ways to save energy through monitoring your usage history, all from your phone. It's more than an app. It's a key to saving time and money. Innovation in your pocket, that's power. Download the app from our website at clallampud.net. Clallam PUD, bringing energy to life.
The North Peninsula's news, the North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Arizona, on the day the Guthrie family is facing a possible ransom deadline in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, daughter and Today host Savannah Guthrie, posting a new video message on Instagram, thanking the public for prayers and also pleading for their help to find her.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her.
Police say the 84-year-old was kidnapped from her Tucson home, but they don't have a suspect or person of interest. ABC's Aaron Kotursky has more from Tucson.
The FBI is still offering $50,000 as a reward, but as this investigation now stretches into a second week, there are grave concerns about Nancy Guthrie's health. She relies on daily medication. So far, the information has been sparse.
Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell today pleaded the fifth in a virtual deposition in the House Oversight Committee's investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, the first member of Congress to review unredacted documents from the Epstein files that released by the Justice Department, has spoken to reporters about what he saw.
Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin says he was able to sit at one of 4 Justice Department computers that administration officials have set up for members of Congress to review the raw, uncensored documents.
I saw the names of lots of people who were redacted for mysterious or baffling or inscrutable reasons.
Raskin says he wasn't allowed any staff or electronic devices, and he only had time to review about 30 to 40 of the files.
This is going to be an extremely time-consuming and painstaking process.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump's tariffs cost the average American household $1,000 last year, according to new research from the nonpartisan Tax Foundation. On Wall Street, stocks finishing up for the day. You're listening to ABC News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-576-2024. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-576-2024. That's 800-576-2024.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The police body cam video from last month's deadly mass shooting at Brown University has now been made public.
Shut down all traffic on Hope and Brook.
The body cam footage released shows officers were clearly trying to not only help victims, but to make sure no one else got hurt.
The front and the back of this building, we need to shut traffic down.
As police were searching the building where the gunman opened fire, they realized there were people shot and others who needed to get out of the line of fire.
Get these rescues in. Let's get them to a rescue.
2 students were killed, 9 others wounded. The gunman turned out to be a former Brown student who also went on to kill an MIT professor who was one of his classmates. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Medical officials in Los Angeles County have now revealed the cause of death for comedic actress Catherine O'Hara, best known for her roles in Home Alone, Best in Show, along with the series The Studio.
Catherine O'Hara's cause of death is revealed in a death certificate obtained by ABC News. Her doctor certified her death as being from a pulmonary embolism, or a blood clot blocking a pulmonary artery in the lung. It also lists an underlying condition of rectal cancer. O'Hara died on January 30th after the LA Fire Department responded to a medical aid call at her home. She was transported to a hospital and was pronounced dead. O'Hara was 71 years old. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The Arctic blast still holding its grip on much of the upper plains, Midwest, and Northeast. Wind chills leading to dangerous sub-zero real and field temperatures. A relief could come later this week. Michelle.
As each season changes, one thing stays the same. Airport Garden Center is always here to help your yard and garden grow. Airport Garden Center opened for business in 1977 as a pet, plant, and feed store by Eldora and Floyd Matthews. The family-run operation continues with Mark and Betsy Matthews passionately managing the business to this day. Their family provides your family quality service, products, and expert advice for a fun, rewarding, pet and child-friendly shopping atmosphere. We love helping you plan next season by offering monthly special savings too. Go to airportgarden.biz for current specials and seasonal classes and events, or just stop on by our spacious indoor-outdoor garden center on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles to chat with the experts. Airport Garden Center, planting knowledge, growing gardeners since 1977.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate Outstanding Agents. Outstanding results, 457-6600. In Port Angeles, all 3 license plate reader cameras have now been shut off and removed from service after public concerns. City Manager Nathan West says the move was made out of an abundance of caution while city leaders review the issue. The decision comes as state lawmakers consider new regulations on license plate reader technology. The cameras will remain offline until the legislature acts and city council provides direction. Search teams in Olympic National Park have recovered a body believed to be that of 26-year-old Alicia Bulia, who went missing last fall during a solo trip. The St. Louis woman's identity has not been officially confirmed by the park, but Bulia's mother says the remains are her daughter's. The investigation is ongoing.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance for isolated rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 48, easterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, chance for rain, lows dip down to about 36. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow, slight chance of rain, high of 46. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Wednesday with daytime highs approaching 47. 48, chance of rain Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 45 Friday, 44 Saturday, and 43 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 46.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
All right, welcome once again to the program. Today, going to talk about a serious subject, but we hope it's going to enlighten you in a way that will make things a little easier, because this is going to affect everybody at some point, because that's just the way life is. And it's time for our quarterly talk with the folks from Volunteer Hospice here in Clallam County. And today we're going to talk a little bit about end-of-life medical care. And we're going to, I'll introduce folks, I think, as we get to them. So we're going to go to Jeanette Stair-Green, who always helps us with these programs. She's the super volunteer now at Volunteer Hospice.
Volunteer. I can just be called the volunteer.
But she's putting these shows together, so that's a good thing. So, I'm going to let her kind of set this up, and then we'll get into talk to a couple of the pros here about what it's like in the real world and what folks should know about end of life, not only for themselves but their family members
exactly.
too. So.
I think a lot of the topics that we brought to the show are ones that have personal meaning and maybe mistakes that were made. And we've talked several times about my father's death and kind of how that all played out. And not everything went well, but today's topic may be so. And that's that whole idea of when the end is near, what kind of medical care do you want? And do you want the full court press? Do you want to keep breathing and your heart beating for as long as possible? Or, do you just want to kind of go quietly into that dark night? My father was 92 when he passed away, and he had had such a really good life. And for the last 10 years, he had been very clear to me that I don't want any heroics. I just want to go when my time comes. And that's easily said. How easily done is that? Well, as the end did near, his wife, who is a retired nurse, and I had kind of a confrontation. I unfortunately had to leave because of emergencies back at home here. And I was wondering what was going to happen. I knew he was going to pass not in my presence. And she's like, well, what happens if he stops breathing? And I'm like, just hold his hand. And should I call 911? And I'm like, just tell him you love him, and these sorts of things. And so to me, it's really important for people to think about what's right for them. And that might take a conversation with family members and your medical care providers, and then making sure everyone is aware of that.
And this is something actually, volunteer hospice, you folks help folks with this too. I mean, I think we don't realize that there are certain services you could tap into. If you're having difficulty navigating that,
yeah,
you can call you guys.
There,
right?
yes. I mean, hospice provides so many services, and one is just helping to educate the family and the patient about what it's going to be like, and how do you approach it, and how do you provide care to make it as comfortable and meaningful as possible. So, yeah. Hospice is right there, and hospice patients, those last days, those last hours maybe have a very different look than for other people.
You noted, though, important, everybody's got to get on the same page.
Yes.
Right? Make sure you know what everybody wants.
Right.
And if you've got siblings or, and you had a good example in what you just said. You were not there all the time. So you're somebody who had kind of entered into the end of things there and then had to leave.
Right. And as they say, like, making the decision is just half of the work. It's then communicating that with those who are likely to be around when your time comes, and maybe taking some more some written actions to that, so that it's very clear.
And that's what we're going to get into, I think, a little bit here as well. And we're going to talk with a couple of medical pros about what it really means in the real world and how it affects what they do in practice.
Right.
Literally, right, when you're out there. So we're going to welcome to our studios Dr. Tom Konp, who's a retired oncologist. Tom's, good to see you again. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you.
And we also have Dr. Paul Craven here. He's an OMC emergency medicine physician as well. So, Paul, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Nice being here.
These two both come from this from a perspective probably a little different and similar in some ways in patients that they've treated over time. So maybe I'll just start with that and have each of you weigh in on kind of what Jeanette just talked about from the medical professional that is maybe engaged with a family. So, Paul, emergency room doc. I guess this is one where things can happen fast, perhaps.
Things can happen very fast. And the other hat I wear is the Clallam County EMS medical director. Right. And so where it also happens super fast is for our EMS crews who are responding on scene when you call 911. And I think an important thing to kind of convey when we're dealing with end-of-life care, not to state the obvious, but for us family members who are watching someone dying, it's painful, okay? It's going to hurt. The problem I see from both the EMS side and the emergency medicine side is we make an assumption that our family members will be able to think clearly when that time comes. And that's not the time you want to have them solving complex situations. That's the time you need to let them grieve and be sad that you're passing. So what that means is having these conversations early, having them often, having clear expectations helps reduce that cognitive burden, so that way they can make decisions in real time that honor your wishes and what you want. And that's the important thing to convey. And that can look different for an EMS crew or in the emergency department, but the general thing evolves around, goals of care, ideally having it written and having that written statement easily accessible for people to find.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, literally posted on the refrigerator is where this stuff should be, right?
Ideally, I would strongly not recommend putting it in your desk drawer in some sort of filing cabinet. Yeah. Because if you say it's there, for starters, the EMS crew will rip it apart trying to find it. And that's assuming they find it to honor your wishes.
So let's talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to get the other perspective in the room too from this. But this Pulse agreement, it's a bright colored document usually,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And that's on purpose.
That is on purpose. It is designed to be easily visible and distinguishable, so that way people can recognize it from far off in a room and know that's the form I need to look at.
That can outline all sort of levels of things, though. Just because someone has that on there doesn't mean that it might say, yeah, do everything you can to save me.
Correct.
Right?
It might say do everything. It might say what is called selective treatment, where it's I want certain things, but I don't want other things. Or it might say comfort measures. I want to make sure that I'm not in pain and that I'm comfortable when I pass.
So from a 911, from an EMS perspective, you roll into someone's house and this is happening. You see their, how does that change? I mean, that obviously makes the job, I'm not going to say easier, but how do you react to that after you read what's on one of those?
It changes everything in terms of goals of care. So if you have someone who is in cardiac arrest, that means we're going to go full speed. We are going to do CPR, which probably means we're going to break your ribs. We're going to intubate you or put some sort of airway device in to secure your airway. And if that's what you want for heroic measures, then we will do that. And we will do that with, decent success. But there's a trade-off that comes with that. That may not be what you want. A good lesson that was taught to me when I was in training was whenever you're making kind of end-of-life decisions, you need to ask yourself, are we prolonging life or are we postponing death? And that's an important thing that plays into it. And so having a pulse form on the flip side of that is if you want to be comfort measures only, we go down a completely different pathway. If you are in pain, we will give you pain medication. If you look like you're short of breath, we will give you medications to assist with that. But we're going down a completely different pathway in terms of how we respond.
And that's a good note, too, because some folks may say, hey, I just want comfort measures. And they think you're just going to walk away.
We're not going to
realize that you are going to do some treatment.
We are going to do something. I can tell you, as the medical director for the county, we have distinct protocols for palliative care to make sure that you are comfortable towards the end.
And that can start right in the living room of your house on a 911 call.
Yes, sir.
Right, as soon as that. Okay. Dr. Tom Cummins here as well. And in oncology, I mean, you deal with patients kind of at a whole different part of some of this. So talk a bit about kind of the importance of, we talked about a pulse thing, but it's important in a practice like when you're doing cancer care.
That's certainly true. And we always would try to do what the patient wants, make sure that their wishes are known. But in a lot of situations, everybody has the same wishes. I want to live as long as I can. I want to be as functional as I can. And when my time comes, I don't want to linger and die. But that's a hard decision to make in a lot of situations. It's hard to know what the future is. And you're really asking somebody to predict what is going to happen to me in the future. And much as I like to claim doctors are gods, right, guys? It turns out we're actually not. It turns out we can't predict the future very well. And so the situation about translating someone's wishes into hospital orders comes up for oncologists a lot. The Post says, I don't want to be kept alive artificially when it comes to that. But the question is, when does it come to that? And that's quite a challenge in a lot of circumstances. If you have a cancer for which you might be cured, you might wish that you would be kept alive artificially in order to go through your treatment so that you can have a big, successful outcome for that. On the other hand, the reason there are things like do not resuscitate or no code orders have been created so that if a person is in the hospital or is in the emergency room, they aren't kept alive artificially in a situation that's much more likely to end up with a tube in your lungs and a tube in your chest from the broken ribs and a big IV in your neck and a tube in your bladder, and then you're transferred to the intensive care unit and you're tied down so you don't pull the tubes out and you're sedated because you're thrashing around, and instead of watching somebody pass away peacefully like everybody would like the outcome to be, in fact, it's a miserable experience for everyone and hard, very hard on the families. Oftentimes the patients are out of it and no longer experiencing it. So Yes, it would be wonderful if all of our patients were 92 years old, had a good life, and said, I'm ready to let nature take its course. That's easy. But if you're 45 and you've got Hodgkin's disease and this pneumonia might take your life or it might not, you might want a lot done. So I always try to emphasize to people that post forms and DNR orders are wonderful things to have, but keep in mind they apply when you are no longer able to communicate what it is you want. So just signing a form, that doesn't mean that anybody is obligated to do what that form says. If you're sitting there saying, I would like everything done, or I don't want anything done, that form does not apply anymore.
Right. Yeah, you can say, hang on, even though it says that, I've changed my mind.
Correct. Right. People have the right to change their mind. And the other thing is, oftentimes the post forms, the advance directives will say, when nothing else can be done, let me go. And trying to figure out when nothing else can be done. Thank God I'm not an emergency room doctor and have to figure that out sometimes. I'll let Dr. Craven handle that one. But it is a situation in which just because you've signed a form does not mean you're giving up. We have patients who sign advanced directives that say, I won't want to be kept alive artificially, and I don't want my life prolonged, but now I need a surgical procedure or a blood transfusion or something else that might make things entirely different in the outcome, and that should be performed. So we try not to make people feel like they're giving up if they accept that the end is near. That's a decision that you really need to make oftentimes when the time comes, and not try to predict what's going to happen 7 years from now when my dementia gets so bad that I no longer
And that's
can
a whole
feed
other
myself.
point. Yeah, I mean, and that's the revisiting of the pulse as well, right? Things can change in your dynamic of your life.
Very true, very true. So it's never a commitment that you're obligated to follow what you wrote down 7 years ago.
I would imagine, boy, as a cancer patient, you just nailed it. In this day and age when there's so many things you can do to, perhaps put someone in a remission of something that maybe they wouldn't have had that opportunity even before because of methods and treatments and things. That's a toughie. I mean, it could have been 10 years ago, the verdict, so to speak, was quite different for somebody.
Correct. There are situations in which it is very difficult to make these decisions, and the important thing is, as a general rule, what do you want? But you always have the right, particularly when you are still conscious and communicable and in charge of your own health care, to make a decision about what exact things you're willing to do. And that's why it has to be addressed with your medical team at the time you are facing that particular crisis.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
And actually, this brings up a really good point about the different forms and stuff.
Yep.
Is that in the past shows we've talked about the advance directive, and this is actually a legal document where you'll spell out what kind of care you want, who your healthcare agent will be, your proxy will be to make decisions if you can't speak yourself. But that's a legal document. That does not pertain, in a healthcare setting. The PULSE, which actually that acronym, I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Portable orders for life-sustaining treatment. These are directions that you sign, but your physician, your primary care provider, also signs, and they are transferable. If you have EMS coming into your home, they can follow those directions. And so it's two very different things, and it's important to think about both of those methods of communication.
Good point. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to get a little bit more of the discussion about this with our doctors, as well as Jeanette Stair-Green, who's helped to organize this important conversation, I think, about advanced directives and all of the things that you may or may not want happening to you as you get to the end of your life. And we'll continue our discussion on it right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi folks, this is Courtney from Lavender Meadows. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair, an event dedicated to caring for the heart in all the ways that truly matter. On February 14th, we're bringing together an inspiring local businesses and knowledgeable guest speakers who are passionate about heart health, from movement and mindfulness to nourishment and health. This is a free event for your health. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair from 11 to 3, February 14th at Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
Thinking about updating your bath or shower? Let's talk facts. Bathfitter is the original. We don't play games with your dollar. You get transparent pricing and no gimmicks. With custom-fit tub and shower solutions from Bathfitter, we'll also remove your old setup. And right now, enjoy 0% interest and 0 payment for 1 year. Over 40 years, Bathfitter remains the name you can trust. Visit bathfitternw.com.
At Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, Mark Gustafson is precisely the professional you want helping your family during a time of loss.
Every morning when I get out of bed, I have one more opportunity to help a family in need that is grieving, that may be in a cloud, may not know what to do, where to go, who to talk to. And I'm here to help them through that and to be here every day for them.
Saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy. Friendship and experience can be a real comfort.
When a loved one loses someone, it's a journey that they're going through. It's new territory, so to speak, and I'm able to be there to help them. And again, being hometown, I'm there with them all the way through it from start to finish.
Caring professionals when you need them most. Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel, 452-9701, and Squim Valley Funeral Chapel, 683-5242.
The health and strength of a business economy can be measured by the effectiveness of its local Chamber of Commerce. Here on the North Olympic Peninsula, more than 420 business owners join the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce to support each other and help maintain a strong and resilient network.
Your local chamber works hard every day on projects, initiatives, and advocacy to support our local economy, local business growth, and community pride. We produce events and programs that support the community, including the annual Community Awards, the Clallam Opportunity Investment Network, the Port Angeles Maritime Festival, Clallam County Job Fairs, the 4th of July Celebration and Parade, Ride the Hurricane, the Winter Ice Village, and many other programs.
If you own a business and you're not already a member of the Chamber, consider supporting the economic community that supports your business by joining the Port Angeles Chamber of Commerce.
Joining is relatively easy, inexpensive, and your membership does make a difference.
Learn more on our website, portangeles.org.
That's portangeles.org.
Welcome back to the program. We're talking about something very serious, but something that everybody probably should be considering. And I'm learning a little bit about this as well. Those are end-of-life medical care. What do you want? What don't you want? And doggone it, make sure everybody knows what that is and where your directives are at so that when it comes to that point, the guys like I have in the room here today know where to find the documents and know exactly what it spells out. So we've been talking with Dr. Paul Craven, who's an emergency room doc, also works on the EMS side of things. And he actually, Paul, during the break, you said, let me give you a few examples. And you even have one as fresh as just 24 hours
yes, sir.
Of how a pulse was put into action.
Yeah, so, I mean, literally yesterday, I received what's called a medical command crew from EMS. So they're calling for additional advice on how to proceed on a case. Responded to a call of a patient who was unresponsive. To make a long story short, was in an obvious heart dysrhythmia that probably was going to kill them. But at bedside, they had a pulse form that listed they were comfort measures only, so they would not want heroic measures. They would want to be kept comfortable. And they had contact information for a POA, so power of attorney, who could help make decisions in the event that they could not respond. In this particular case, they could not respond. So the crew reached out to that family member, confirmed the patient's wishes, and confirmed they did not want heroic measures. And the phone call to me was more, they want to be kept comfortable. These are the things we are seeing. These are the medications we are considering giving for keeping them comfortable. Just given the nature of what we're currently seeing right now, do you have any other suggestions? With the mindset of keep this patient comfortable so that way their death is peaceful and not painful. That was literally 24 hours ago. I received that phone call.
Now, did that person pass then at their house?
I believe so.
Okay.
So they were not, I can tell you, they were not transported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question I have, though, is at what point do you transport somebody if they're in that sort of setting? Is there a certain wait time before it's like, we might need to get this person to a place where this is going to take longer than,
So it
here
depends
today?
on what is already set up. So if they're connected with great organizations like Volunteers in Hospice,
Yeah.
oftentimes that is set up and we do not need to do transport.
There you go. Okay.
If oftentimes we work closely with our partners. So if there's something that, a hospice organization is seeing that maybe they can't handle, then they will call us and request transport so we can honor the patient's wishes.
Okay, very good. Very curious about that, just given that last one. Now, Tom's got kind of a personal story a bit about how some of this works. I don't know if you wanted to share some of that as well, but fill us in on kind of what we talked about, what happened with you in the break.
What happened with me was that I had a sister younger than I am who passed away. In her case, it was cancer, but the principles could have been any life-limiting illness, end-stage heart disease or dementia or any of the other things that can cause people's lives to be shortened. But in my sister's case, it was cancer, and she wanted to live as long as she could. She's got 2 little grandbabies she wanted to see grow up, and she considered herself a fighter and was not going to give up. And as a result of that, when the cancer came back after the initial treatment, came back after the second-line treatment, and ultimately spread to her brain and her spinal cord, the outcome that she wanted was not going to happen. And her medical team approached her with the idea of signing a do not resuscitate order because in the provider's mindset, the probability was it would result in a prolonged death rather than any significant prolongation of quality of life. And all of us have seen patients stuck in ICUs on ventilators with tubes everywhere and sedated and tied down, and it's just a miserable experience. But for my sister, it felt like she was giving up. She did not really want to sign a DNR order, fearful that it meant that she wouldn't receive as much care as possible. So I have to confess it took a lot of conversation to convince her that a do not resuscitate order in a hospital does not mean you don't get surgery, you don't get chemotherapy, you don't get radiation. You get what you need to prolong your quality of life. But when it's simply going to, when the probability is it is more likely to result in a terrible death than any real prolonged life, you're not giving up. You're protecting yourself and your family from a miserable experience.
How do you consult? I mean, that was a personal story for you, but do you consult with patients that way?
The vast majority of patients, and frankly, myself included, want to live as long as I can.
Right. Yeah.
I'd like to live as long as I can. I have no particular interest to pass away. So, yes, any rational patient says I want to live as long as I can. And while, again, it's nice, my father was 80 when he was in Jeanette's father's situation. It's nice when you're 92 and you're ready to let it go. But for the vast majority of us, this is going to hit us when we're not just ready to let it go. Death is fine, just not right now. I mean, a little while from now, okay. But I'm not ready today. And so I want to live as long as I can. And it hurts when the house staff, the physicians and nurses come in and say, we would recommend you sign a DNR order. Baloney, you're here to keep me alive. I don't want to give up.
Right.
So it is rational, it's understandable, and it's hard for patients who've grown up watching ER where, these ER doctors resuscitate people in like 30 seconds and they come back more beautiful than they were before their cardiac arrest. But that's not the probable outcome for the vast majority of us.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Jeanette.
Well, I was just going to say we've been kind of looking at this from the point of view where the providers, the physicians are encouraging the patients. It can be the patient starts out by meeting with their primary care provider and saying, hey, I'm thinking about advanced directives. What are your thoughts about that? To start engaging the provider, because indeed these guys are in the business they're in because they want to keep people alive and healthy. So they aren't always the ones to bring up this topic either. So I think we as individuals can take the power and start the conversation and get a sense, what do you think? What are the kind of things that might happen to me? How will I do if I have CPR? Those sort of conversations, very frank and open, can then give you the power to start talking with family and friends about it and really start making your own decisions.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about just that. how you get this in play. And what the process, what the steps may be. Interesting discussion with a couple of doctors who've been very directly involved with this, and also Jeanette Stair-Green with Volunteer Hospice here in Clallam County. And we'll chat one more segment with the three of them right after this.
Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Money these days, it's out of control how fast it disappears. Groceries, taxes, subscriptions, on and on. It's like your wallet's got a hole in it. And just when you think you're ahead, something else comes along to empty it out. But you know what else is out of control? The deals at your favorite employee-owned stores. Angelus Millwork, Hartnagel's, and Angelus Rentals. We've got so many ways to save, it's ridiculous. Major sales on paint, decking, power tools, and more. Check. New specials on 20+ products every month. You bet. Online-only discounts? Oh yeah! Window and cabinet deals with installation? What? Don't forget about the Tool of the Month and Husqvarna deals at Angelus Rentals. Never! And that's not enough. Your mailman has coupons. Watch for those in your Valpak mailer. Seriously, it's a little nuts how many ways we're helping you save throughout the year, but it's all about keeping your wallet happy and your money local. Visit lumbertraders.com for more info, and as always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
Are you thinking about a new roof, siding, or windows for your home? Give Tri-State a call. Tri-State installs GAF roofing products, James Hardy siding, and Pella replacement windows. And right now, Tri-State is offering huge savings. The first step is a free estimate. Call 360-208-2222 or visit tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Arizona, authorities say they have no suspects and no person of interest in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Daughter, Savannah Guthrie, today anchor posting a new video pleading for the public to help bring her home.
Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help.
Police say the 84-year-old was abducted from her home just over a week ago. A brief hearing today on Capitol Hill after convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell pleaded the Fifth in her deposition with the House Oversight Committee in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Lawmakers, meantime, today getting their first look at some of the unredacted Epstein files in a secure location. In Maryland, police in Montgomery County say one person is in custody related to a shooting at a high school today. Police responding earlier and confirmed one person was shot. The motive unknown. This is ABC News.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance for isolated rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 48, easterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, chance for rain, lows dip down to about 36. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow, slight chance of rain, high of 46. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Wednesday, with daytime highs approaching 47. 48, chance of rain. Thursday, a peek at the extended shows, 45. Friday, 44. Saturday, and 43 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 46.
All right, welcome back. One more segment. We're going to talk a bit more about end-of-life medical care, setting up the documents, the agreements, even the discussion about what you may or may not want, what that really means, and also remembering you have the right to change your mind as long as you're cognizant of what's going on. So it's not necessarily the end-all, be-all of things. If you're still around and wanting to fight, you can fight. So I'm going to go to Jeanette, and let's talk a bit about how you get this. You mentioned about bringing up the conversation. That might be the first thing you can do as a patient.
Well, I think, and I think it's important that everybody realizes in Washington State, all adults of sound mind can make the decision about what's right for them. And that includes end-of-life care and heroic measures. So this is your right. And so I really think people throughout their lives should be thinking about these sorts of things. And like, what is right for you? What is your current state of health? How are you most likely to end up after any kind of heroic measures? And what is quality of life to you? I mean, more power to you if watching nature documentaries and just being in bed is enough for you to enjoy life. But if your quality of care is not to the level that you want, you need to think seriously about how that impacts any kind of heroic measures. So first is just thinking about it. And I think engaging folks like Dr. Craven and Dr. Konp and just having that conversation with your healthcare provider can kind of inform the direction you head.
Then talk with your family, though, too, right? That's an important key.
It's a 1-2 punch.
And
sometimes
that's part of what you shared at the beginning with
yes,
your situation.
I think it's really important to communicate how you feel about things, because this at the bedside, when things are happening fast and nasty and everybody's so emotional, if a doctor or an EMS provider looks at a child and says, "Should we let your mother go?" I mean, what's going to be the result? Yeah. I mean, no, never. I don't want, I always want my mother to be with me. So to make sure that they're clear, not just your decision, but your reasoning behind it, because then they can oh, yeah, that's right. That wouldn't be, that quality of life wouldn't be great, and you're in pain and that sort of thing. So communicating, and that can take the form of actually sitting down and having discussions. But I think the other is that really getting things down in writing is incredibly important. And it's important for folks out there to realize that a healthcare directive is different than the PULSE, the portable orders for life-sustaining treatment. And then Dr. Konp referred to a DNR, a do not resuscitate, which is actually something that is in the hospital setting, that has to be signed in the hospital setting by the doctor. With the advanced directive, that is something that the individual comes up, they get it signed, they have to have it witnessed by other people, but not healthcare providers. The PULSE has to be signed by your primary care provider to be initiated by and used by any other medical care providers. And then again, the DNR, the do not resuscitate, is totally within the hospital setting.
Can I put a DNR, though, in my directives, though, so that it's just always, I'm just saying it because it sounds like you have to renegotiate that, I guess, every time. Is that?
Yes, that's
yeah,
correct.
Right. I think people need to understand how that works, and that's something I know, having been through it with family members, that's brought up. I mean, when someone comes in and it's like it's not dire, but we may have issues. There's always the question. And I think that's probably on a checklist, right?
That is on a checklist.
Yeah, it's like we have to ask this family, this patient, if they want a DNR.
That is correct.
And it could change. I mean, I guess you could see somebody in an ER setting one day. They say, I want a DNR, but they could come back a day later, and you need to ask them that again, probably, right?
That is
because they
absolutely
can change
correct.
their mind.
People can change their mind, and absolutely, I have had conversations with patients where, on the same shift, within a few hours, we have changed, decisions, and that's based off of new information that has come to light.
Okay.
So.
Yep,
which brings up a really important thing. When I was discussing with Dr. Craven and some of his colleagues in the emergency medical services, is a tattoo does not work.
Oh yeah.
Not a legal binding document.
Yeah, okay.
And it can't be changed easily. And this is the beauty of it, is you can change your mind one way or the other. So don't rely on tattoos.
What about medical bracelets?
Those are a little bit different in the sense of they can have some reference as to what's going on, because oftentimes when they're set up, there's a medical process behind that.
And they typically are not going to go as deep into it as we're talking about right now. Usually that is things like, I'm diabetic, I have these problems, or I have these things, be aware of, I'm allergic to whatever.
Correct.
I can't tell you this. Here's what's my issues, right? Okay.
Then the final step it's not a final step, because the final step is really reevaluate and change your mind if you want, but is that you have these documents signed. Now get them to places that they can be recognized and acknowledged and used. So if you have a PULSE form on your refrigerator door, I've heard, I'm not even going to mention some of the other places people have suggested, because I don't even want to put those ideas in people's heads. It's on the refrigerator door. I understand that EMS comes in, people go to tend to the patient, but they will go looking for these things. And if it's on the refrigerator door, it's pretty obvious and clear. Also providing it to your medical care facility, because they can upload it to their electronic medical record and it will be available. EMS can call the hospital or get onto the Epic record or whatever and find these things and at least be more informed about what's happening.
Correct.
Dr.
All those
Craven's nodding, yes.
If that stuff has been uploaded, it's easily to access.
Right.
And so, for example, if I have someone coming on into the hospital and I'm working in the emergency department, I oftentimes will look up what is, quote, their code status. Are they a full code? Are they selective treatment? Are they a DNR? Because before the patient even arrives, by looking at that, it sends me down a different treatment pathway.
Exactly. You know what you're going to have to set up for, considering what's coming in the door.
Correct. So having that on file is huge. And absolutely, we use that in the hospital all the time. And that's also why we ask those questions all the time when people come into the hospital and get admitted.
Yeah. Do you have it? Have you get it right?
Correct.
Jeanette, is it helpful for you to have copies that, get some of these things to your family members as well, though? Here's what I'm thinking. I mean, I have an elderly mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in for her. I have a lot of her documents that, have been made available to me because I'm it.
Right. I think...
Fortunately, we're in the same town, but I'm thinking if you're not in the same town, and somebody's going to have to call somebody.
Which does make things a lot more difficult, and who's on site. Right. Definitely with the healthcare directive, you name an individual, healthcare proxy, healthcare agent, they have different names, but it's your medical power of attorney type person, is having copies of these things. And again, going through it, because you can sign these things and think it explains to everybody else what you want, and then somebody else reading it may take another look at it.
I don't think he really meant it that way.
Right, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that it's...
So I think that's an excellent idea. Besides having individuals within your family and friends who know where important documents are in your home, having those particular ones with your proxies are a really good idea.
All right. Just one last note from our two doctors, though. These are good things for you folks. I mean, if everybody had this in line, it would make life easier for you.
It would make everyone's life easier. Yes, selfishly, it makes my life easier, but who is really going to make lives easier is my patients and the other patient who we also don't think about, and that's the family member.
Exactly, right. Because if you have this laid out and you know what Dad wanted, it's kind of cut and dry at that point, and then you realize you're not making some sort of a decision that you're going to regret or think you made the wrong decision, because it's not on you. It was on him. He put it together, told you what he wanted.
Exactly.
Right? So, Tom, final thoughts about these two from your perspective?
I would just be careful at what you write. I had a situation where somebody had an advance directive that said they wanted to be on the breathing machine for 1 week. And so we put them on the breathing machine when the pneumonia got bad, and they responded to antibiotics, started getting better and better. But on day 7, they weren't ready to come off the ventilator just yet. And then we had a family member who insisted that, my dad says 7 days on the ventilator, the 7 days are up. So always be a little bit careful about what you write down, and like everything else, that can be subject to change. It's very important that you communicate with your healthcare team about the situation you're in and how does it apply to my situation.
In that situation, is there an advisement you could make to the family, though, that said, it says 7 days, but we'll honor that, but...
No, we didn't honor it. We made it very clear that ethically we didn't feel like we could take the person off the ventilator and let them die when 2 days from now they're liable to be on their own, which in fact they were.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I just get a little worried sometimes when people say, this is what I want, under the impression that the physician is obligated to follow whatever I have just written down. Because there are also situations where the 105-year-old demented dialysis cancer patient with brain metastases who's got a pulse of 50, I may feel like I can't justify cracking your ribs and trying to resuscitate you.
Yeah. Very good. interesting discussion about things, and hopefully it gets people thinking about it. There are templates available. We should point that out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, from all sorts of sources. End of Life Washington is one that we frequently direct people to for healthcare directives. You can get a pulse form at any fire station. You can probably get it at the emergency room here at OMC. A lot of different avenues for that. But yeah, don't reinvent the wheel.
Right. It's there's lots of resources out there. All right, before we run out of time, a couple of announcements. Hospice got a couple of things going on,
we
right?
do, and there's one that I really recommend to folks. It's called Empower Yourself Workshop. This is for people who are recently widowed or divorced or living alone to come together and learn about home and auto maintenance, making food for one person, financial advice, that sort of thing. It's a really incredible workshop that's going to run through the month of March. It's going to be on Tuesdays, and it's in Port Angeles this year. Call Hospice 360-452-1511. Let me do that again. 360-452-1511 to talk to the folks there, to sign up for it. We also have a grief support group starting in Sequim in March and April. And again, call the hospice office to get signed up.
All right. What is Living Compassion? You want to talk about that last one?
We also have these incredible Zoom presentations once a month. It's part of our Soul Care series, and they delve into some of the other areas of the death and dying conversations. And this one is by an individual, Terry Huber, student and teacher of Zen awareness practice, maybe to help you get your mind around helping others, but taking care of yourself. And that's on Wednesday, March 11th at noontime. It's on Zoom, and you can go to the hospice website. That's Volunteer Hospice of Clallam County. And you can just look under Soul Care Series, and you can register for that there.
All right. Great resources and great conversation today. Thanks, all three of you, for coming in. That's Jeanette Steer-Green there, who helps organize this for us and volunteers so much now with hospice here locally. And Dr. Paul Craven, thanks so much for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Dr. Tom Cummett as well. Good to see you again as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. We're going to take a break, and we'll wrap up things on our show right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Todd Ortloff now with a word for Olympic Peninsula title. They don't just have customers, they have raving fans. Yeah, for over 40 years, they've been earning the repeat business of their customers by treating them with respect, delivering what they promise, prioritizing the security of customers' funds and information, and always providing service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title and see for yourself why they've earned over 500 five-star reviews, and they've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
Home affordability? Yes, it does exist here on the peninsula with Mountain View Homes. Looking for a quality craftsmanship home at 40% less than stick-built? Call Mountain View Homes. We specialize in affordable homes with full-service land packages, dirt to turnkey, quality, beautiful, and an efficient manufactured home on the site of your choice. Mountain View Homes has 3 locations to serve you, including Carlsberg. Visit mtviewhomes.com. That's mtviewhomes.com.
Olympic Hot Tub Super Smart Top Special is here. Hey, it's Ryan Roland Smith. This is your chance to save now on your new hot tub and get a free Smart Top worth $3,700. Take it from me because I have one. Smart Top is the ultimate cover for your tub. Strong, long-lasting, and ready to defend your tub against northwest weather. Super Smart Top special savings will make you feel, well, super. Details at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Caring for a loved one takes heart and help. Dungeness Court Memory Care is there for you. Our adult day stay program offers a safe, nurturing environment with meals, engaging activities, caregiving support, and on-site nursing care. Day stay is available 7 days a week from 30 minutes to 10 hours with no minimum commitment for only $25 an hour. Care for your loved one. Peace of mind for you. Call 360-582-9309 to schedule a free assessment today.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Kick off the Valentine's weekend with an event that will fill your heart and your plate. Come enjoy a spaghetti dinner Friday the 13th at Squim Prairie Grange. Bring a date and the family for a complete spaghetti dinner, including salad, bread, a beverage, plus a sweet dessert for your sweetie at the Squim Prairie Grange. Come celebrate community during the spaghetti dinner Friday the 13th, 5 to 7 p.m., Squim Prairie Grange at 290 Maclay Road in Squim. On February 21st, it's Mardi Gras time at the Naval Elks Lodge. Enjoy great music, dancing, and party games while raising funds to support homeless veterans in the area. The Elks Riders love to help the community and have a great time. Join them Saturday the 21st at their big Mardi Gras bash at the PA Elks Lodge. Get tickets at the door or look up events at the Elks on Facebook for details.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Welcome back to the program. A plane for points. Frontier Airlines offering you flights for your loyalty points. But there's more to it. ABC's Brad Milkey fills us in.
The Super Bowl is on Sunday, and brands are already promoting their Super Bowl ads. But yesterday, there might have been a resolution in one of the most legally fraught Super Bowl ads of all time.
Introducing the new Pepsi Stuff catalog.
So back in 1996, Pepsi had launched this promotion called Pepsi Stuff. Drink Pepsi, get stuff. So, similar to arcade tickets, you could collect your points from bottle caps and fountain cups and redeem them for prizes. This commercial shows that a Pepsi t-shirt is 90 points. A pair of cool sunglasses is 125 Pepsi points. Then at the end of the commercial, a kid arrives at school in a Harrier jet, the military aircraft that can take off and land vertically like a hovercraft. On the screen it says, Harrier jet, 7 million points.
Sure beats the bus.
Which, of course, was kind of silly. A single bottle of Pepsi was worth 1 point, so who's going to drink 7 million? Funny joke, right? Well, one man named John Leonard had realized that like many points programs, what you lacked in points you could make up for in cash, and the Harrier jet seemed drastically undervalued. He sent Pepsi a check for $700,000 along with his points and asked for his jet. Pepsi said, you're not serious, are you? Leonard said he was completely serious. There's a whole Netflix documentary about this.
No fine print came up. I don't care what anybody else says. That is a legit offer.
Courts ended up siding with Pepsi on this. Leonard's check was never cashed. But yesterday, Frontier Airlines announced a new promotion in an ad of its own ahead of the Super Bowl.
6,999,999, 7 million. It's a deal.
They're going to convert his 7 million Pepsi points into 7 million Frontier miles. That's enough, they say, to fly for free on Frontier for the rest of his life. They also say they're not stopping with Leonard's outdated Pepsi points. In fact, they're not stopping with Pepsi at all. If you have got loyalty points with another company, they say, Frontier will convert them all into miles. Now, is this a way for Frontier to get new customers? Yes. Does it entice people to pay extra cash for flights when they're low on miles, just like all their predecessors? Absolutely. But it also kind of reminds me of debt consolidation companies buying up debt from people they don't think are 100% likely to pay up. In this case, the debtors are companies with outdated loyalty programs. You and I are the lenders, intent on cashing in even if we don't get what we originally signed up for. Frontier, though, learned from others' mistakes. With the exception of John Leonard, they say, this program will have a hard cap of 5,000 miles. They don't want any surprises.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Hi, this is John Holm, President of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A-plus rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
In conjunction with Squim Valley Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Home, we're excited to announce the installation of 3 additional niche banks within the Veterans Circle at Mount Angeles Memorial Park in Port Angeles. Each bank has 48 niches, and each niche comfortably houses 1 to 2 sets of remains. We are proud to help serve veterans and their families by adding this additional memorial space to Mount Angeles Memorial Park. Peninsula Cemeteries, because endings matter.
Hi folks, this is Courtney from Lavender Meadows. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair, an event dedicated to caring for the heart in all the ways that truly matter. On February 14th, we're bringing together an inspiring local businesses and knowledgeable guest speakers who are passionate about heart health, from movement and mindfulness to nourishment and health. This is a free event for your health. Join us this Saturday at Lavender Meadows for a Heart Health Affair from 11 to 3, February 14th at Lavender Meadows in Sequim.
Stop by Paua Treasure Trap. We're located in the front of Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles. We have a fun selection of gifts to choose from. Everything from our best-selling leather journals to anime figures and fun pop culture gifts. We also have hard-to-find collectible swords for fantastic displays. And you've got to check out our adult humor section in our front mezzanine that's full of not safe for work gag gifts guaranteed to spark laughter. Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles.
Whether you're a local looking for a comfortable hangout or a visitor exploring the Olympic Peninsula, Angelus Tap Room has your next great pint waiting. Located in downtown Port Angeles at 116 North Lincoln Street, we offer 12 rotating craft beers on tap, plus a wide selection of cans and bottles to go. We're open Tuesday to Thursday, 3:30 to 9, Friday and Saturday 2 to 9, and Sundays 2 to 7. All ages welcome. Angelus Tap Room. Good beer, good people.
Now, when we get inside the bowling alley, I don't want to hear any complaining or whining. None of this, that's not fair, or all the pink balls are taken. Or my favorite, I think the lane is sloping. None of that. We're here at Laurel Lanes to have fun and get some exercise. You understand, honey?
Yeah, but can we get the bumpers? I think the lane slopes a little.
Babe, the lanes at Laurel Lanes are perfect, and so are you.
Aww.
You just really suck at bowling.
Yeah, but it's so fun.
Auto bumpers, auto scoring, endless fun. Laurel Lanes, come have a ball.
The North Olympic Peninsula's news station. News Radio KONP Port Angeles Sequim. AM 1450, FM 101.7 and 101.3. A Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. In Arizona, the search for Nancy Guthrie continues now for a second week. Police are working to find clues, and the family is up against a possible ransom deadline now just a few hours away. The 84-year-old's daughter and Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, in a new video on Instagram, pleaded for the public's help.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her.
ABC's Aaron Katursky is in Tucson and says local authorities, along with the FBI, have seized evidence, but so far there are no new leads.
There are no suspects. There are no people of interest. There are no vehicles associated with the case. There's no video that the authorities seemingly have recovered. There's nothing to say whether Nancy Guthrie is even still alive. And so I think all of that is reflected in what Savannah posted on her Instagram account to say, we need everyone's help.
Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving a prison sentence in the Epstein sex abuse case, appeared for a virtual deposition today in the House Oversight Committee probe. Epstein's former accomplice exercised her right to avoid answering questions that could incriminate her. GOP Chair James Comer.
As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth and refused to answer any questions. This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed.
Maxwell's attorney says she would speak if she received presidential clemency. It was also the first day lawmakers could privately review unredacted Epstein files not released by the Justice Department. At the Milan Cortina Olympics, officials say Lindsey Vonn is in stable condition from leg surgery following yesterday's crash. Teammate Breezy Johnson brought home the gold in the same event. You're listening to ABC News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-970-3355. That's 800-970-3355. 800-970-3355.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight, starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now with more news, here's Michelle Franzen.
Authorities in Rhode Island sharing the chaotic moments following the deadly December shooting at Brown University by providing a look at the body cam video worn by responding officers. ABC's Peter Haralambous has more.
All of this happening as officers were concerned about friendly fire and engaging in potential miscommunication where they thought they might have the suspect before realizing they don't actually have the right guy. All of this, I think, taken together kind of explains why in those immediate moments officers couldn't identify the suspect and why he was able to eventually escape and go on a week-long manhunt throughout the Northeast.
The Trump administration now going to bat for Steve Bannon in court as he seeks to wipe out his 2022 conviction for contempt of Congress.
Former Trump senior advisor Steve Bannon spent 4 months in prison for refusing to appear before the House January 6th committee. But now, as Bannon pursues an appeal of his conviction to the Supreme Court, the Trump administration is getting behind him. Its new brief at the High Court says the government has determined in its prosecutorial discretion that dismissal of this criminal case is in the interests of justice. Bannon has insisted in refusing to provide testimony he was aiming to protect Trump's executive privilege.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. In San Francisco, more than 5,000 teachers, school nurses, and other workers from the San Francisco Unified School District are on day one of a strike, picketing today and marching, asking for better wages. Michelle.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate Outstanding Agents. Outstanding results, 457-6600. In Port Angeles, all 3 license plate reader cameras have now been shut off and removed from service after public concerns. City Manager Nathan West says the move was made out of an abundance of caution while city leaders review the issue. The decision comes as state lawmakers consider new regulations on license plate reader technology. The cameras will remain offline until the legislature acts and city council provides direction. Search teams in Olympic National Park have recovered a body believed to be that of 26-year-old Alicia Bulia, who went missing last fall during a solo trip. The St. Louis woman's identity has not been officially confirmed by the park, but Bulia's mother says the remains are her daughter's. The investigation is ongoing.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a chance for isolated rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 48. East winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Chance of rain 36. Slight chance of rain tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 46. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. A mix of clouds and sun Wednesday with highs around 47. 48. Chance for rain Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 45 Friday, 44 Saturday, and 43 on Sunday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 46.
Normal is broke and common sense is weird, so we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, this is The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me, Dr. John Deloney in the house taking calls about your life and your money. We're going straight to the phone lines. You know the deal. We have Greg in Phoenix, Arizona. What's going on, Greg?
Hi. Yes, this is Greg, and I have about $10,000 in credit card debt. I keep making payments on it, and it ends up going right back up to $10,000 due to my drinking.
Oh, no.
Yikes, man. What are you doing to get a handle on your drinking, brother?
I'm getting back into the AA programs and church programs, but, yeah, getting back into it.
Huh. Are you ready to commit all in?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So how can we help you today, man?
Well, I originally reached out to see if there was any other advice besides cutting up my credit card. So anything besides that would be appreciative.
Is it just
Do you not want to do that?
No, I do. I have a little bit of nerves about it when it comes to emergencies and things like that. I have to use my truck a lot for work, so I mean, I'm gonna have to change the tires on it pretty soon. I know I'm gonna need a credit card for that.
Have you? Oh, sorry, Jade.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, if we give you a financial solution for that, for the things that you're concerned about, is that all that's keeping you?
What do you mean, all that's keeping me?
If you leave this call today and I give you a plan for why you don't have to fear tires on the truck, or all of those things that you're kind of feeling like, hey, I need the credit card to fall back on, would that be enough for you then to cut it up?
Yes, for sure.
All right, so you've been to AA before?
Yes.
What would they tell you if you went into AA and they said, are you ready? And you said, yes, except I still need to hang out with these guys. I still need to go to this bar once a week, and I still need to do something else. Would they have any confidence that you were going to be able to change what alcohol is serving to cover up for you?
No, they wouldn't.
Okay. So as long as you keep this backup plan on you at all times, 24/7, 365, the chances of you using this backup plan are 100%.
Okay.
The path forward is really say never again. And when you walk into your first AA meeting, it has to be never again. And when it comes to, I'm tired of making as much money as I do, and every month, I don't even know where it goes. I just look up and I'm back in the whole 10 grand. Until you decide I'm done with this and follow the plan Jade's going to lay out for you. And by the way, getting sober, it's not easy. It's hard. It costs you a lot. And it's worth it. And getting out of debt is hard. It costs you a lot. And dude, the path is freedom and peace, man. It's worth everything. You just got to say, I'm either in or I'm out.
I'm in, so I'm ready to hear it.
It's awesome.
It's really good. Yeah, we're proud of you. So let's talk about the money side of this. So you've got tires on the truck coming up. It sounds like basically what's happened is you've kind of got in a paycheck to paycheck cycle. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So what are you bringing in every month? What comes into your hands every single month?
I just started a job 3 months ago. I'm making $75K plus commission. I do have a $1,500 a month car allowance, so it's kind of more like $90K.
Okay, good.
Plus commission.
Okay, so you've got a car allowance of like a high amount. That's crazy. So how much are you actually bringing home in your check? Like what are you writing on your budget?
What I'm bringing home is approximately, after taxes and everything, about $5,000 a month right now.
Okay, and is it just you, or do you have family?
Well, I'm engaged, and I'm about to move in with my fiance within a couple of months in May also. So that's another reason why I'm kind of holding on to the credit card a little bit.
Okay, so I want to challenge that. I don't want to bite off too much to chew in this little bit of time, but first things first is you getting yourself together.
Amen.
And that is on the addiction side and on the financial side. Adding a whole other person to this right now and moving in together. I'm sorry, John, I'm getting into your territory, but that that feels like not the right move at this point in time, right? You got a lot on your plate.
It's like holding matches over an open flame and deciding, you know what, I'm going to pick up a gas can too while I'm standing here. You're just going to make everything way more complex.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you can't keep dating this lady or whatever, but accelerating to that point just feels like it doesn't feel like the right move. So you've got good money coming in. You've got a great allowance here. Now the only thing is we got to get this into a budget, because there's something, obviously before it was the addiction that was spending all your money, but right now something else is eating your lunch on a month-to-month basis. How much are you paying every month for rent?
$1,300.
Okay, so that's not the problem. What is your car payment?
I'm $750 away from having it completely paid off.
Attaboy, way to go, dude.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and once it's paid off, do you still get the $1,500 allowance for your car?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why can't we use that for tires? Can you get tires for $1,500?
Yes.
I love this. Yeah, this is awesome. So is that it? Is that just the solution? Do we need to talk about anything else?
I mean, I know that y'all say it's a bad idea with the moving in and whatnot, but I mean, this has been the plan for a few months now, so it's going to be hard to reverse that.
Not really. It's going to require some tough conversations. And I have a sense, I mean, I don't know the lady, but you just called here and you laid some pretty heavy things on the table, and it made perfect sense to me. It was like, oh, logical, makes sense. So I got to believe that if you talk to her and you say, hey, here's what I'm going through today, it doesn't make sense for me to what John's point said. I'm standing in front of a fire. I don't want to add you and make this complex for both you and I.
Or let me flip it around. If your fiance was a friend of mine, if she was my sister and my daughter, I would tell her, hey, continue to love this guy. You've decided you want to spend the rest of your life with him, but he's got to go get well before you fully anchor in. And he's got to commit to looking himself in the mirror and saying, I'm worth sobriety. I'm worth this amazing job opportunity I've got. I'm worth cleaning up and being disciplined with my finances, committing to something and not wavering. And then you can feel free to anchor into that concrete. That's what I would tell her. And my guess is you would tell, if that was your sister or like, your friend, you'd tell them the same thing. And so it's just a matter of, man, what you need right now is a simple plan, a simple path. And the more complexity you add to this thing, the more variables you throw in there, like, I'm just going to keep the car just in case, the more opportunities you have to trip and fall.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, nobody's telling you not to stay engaged, not to potentially marry this woman, but just do it the right way. And before you go, we're going to make sure Christian picks up and gets you every dollar because you need it, so you can see where all of your money, all that $5,000 plus that car allowance, see where it's going every month. And promise me today you'll cut up the credit cards and buy the tires in cash.
Whether you're on Medicare today or will be soon, you already know it can be overwhelming. Look, the system is confusing on purpose, and one wrong move can cost you thousands in premiums, prescriptions, or lifetime penalties. That's why I recommend Chapter. They're the only Ramsey-trusted Medicare advisor because they work for you, not big insurance. Chapter searches every available Medicare plan. Then they walk you through your options in plain English. No pressure, no sales games, just honest advice. And if you're already in the best plan, they'll tell you. But if not, they may be able to help you save hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So call Chapter today. Dial pound 250 and say Medicare. The annual enrollment period is over, but Chapter can still help you understand enrollment options and find ways to save on your health care. Again, dial pound 250 and say Medicare.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. Listen, I don't know about you, but I love the new year. I love making new goals and getting after it. The problem is, most people start the year with a lot of promises, but no plan. You know how it is. I'm gonna save money. I'm gonna get my financial act together. I'm gonna fill in the blank. But without a plan, guys, those are called wishes. You're just winging it, hoping it all works out. Listen, don't play yourself. I want you to win, and our EveryDollar app will be the game changer for your new year. In just 15 minutes, EveryDollar helps you build a step-by-step plan based on where you're at with your money right now. And every day, the app coaches you with ways to find more money in your budget so you can pay off debt faster and build wealth. It's kind of like having me in your pocket helping you stay on track all year long. So don't just wish your money works out. You can be the one to make it happen this year. Download the EveryDollar Budget app and get started for free right now. That's the EveryDollar Budget app.
Hey guys, Rachel Cruz here, and I know money can be stressful. You work hard to create a life you're proud of, but so often I see people get into debt, stress, and worry simply because they're trying to keep up with everyone else. The result is car payments, mortgages, and credit card bills you can't afford. You see, comparison steals your joy and your paycheck. When we compare ourselves to others, we're playing a game we'll never win. When will the vicious cycle end? Well, it ends when you quit the comparisons and love your life, not theirs. That's why I wrote my best-selling book, Love Your Life, Not Theirs, to help you make a plan for your money and create a life you want. In this book, you'll learn 7 money habits for avoiding debt, spending on a plan, saving for the future, and making peace with your finances. Live the life of your dreams without debt, stress, comparisons, and worry, wreaking havoc on your joy. Go to the online store at RamseySolutions.com today to get your copy of Love Your Life, Not Theirs.
When you're overwhelmed by money, it consumes everything in your life. All day long, you ask questions like, will that check clear? Do I have enough to get to payday? Can I really afford that car repair? Well, no more. You should not have to live with that kind of stress, and you don't have to. When you follow a proven plan, you'll discover peace with your money you never thought possible. And you can start on that plan today with Financial Peace University. This course has helped almost 10 million people learn how to budget, save and spend wisely, get rid of debt, and build real wealth. And you can too. Start watching the course online right away or join a Financial Peace University class for community and support. Decide today that you're done letting money stress rule your life. Get started at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. You can do this. You got it. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU.
All right, back to the phone lines where we have Matthew in Columbia, South Carolina. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good. How can we help today?
Hey, I'm calling in because I'm in a unique situation here where my wife and I, praise God, just paid off, all of our debt, over $150,000 worth of debt.
Yay, yay.
Awesome.
And yeah, it feels really good. We did it in a couple years' time, so that feels good. We're freshly married. We got on board paying off debt even before the wedding, and just so we were on the same page, even during dating. So we've been doing everything right, trying to follow the baby steps. Now we're ready to replenish our emergency fund in baby step number 2. The problem is my wife kind of just dropped this bomb on me today that she is, with or without my permission, going to get her parents a used car. And
with or without your permission, please tell me how that was said.
Well, so here's the thing. It's with or without my permission because she up front paid a lot of my student loans off, and we ended up paying a bulk of it off together.
Okay.
And so, but
so you
as
owe
I'm
her.
sure you already
You
understand.
owe her is what she's saying. Uh-oh.
As the great Warren G once said, hold up. Y'all paid off y'all's student loan debt.
That's how I see it. I see it as we already have a combined, checking, combined savings, combined high yield savings account. We have combined everything finances. And so I don't have a problem with her wanting to do something nice for her parents. I love them, and I want to do that for them too.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I have hold up on is the precedent that's set of, hey, whether you are on board for this or not, this is on my heart, and I'm going to do it, no matter what.
All right, so let me flip this around real quick. Are you a person who can hear that conversation from her and honor it and figure out ways to connect with her on it?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning sometimes we make bold statements like that, like I'm going with or without you, because the person we've been trying to communicate with is stuck in concrete. And so anytime somebody says something that just sounds out of character or just sounds wild, like you don't have permission, like you're all mom and dad and some sort of weird marriage, like anytime somebody says that, this is just a personal thing. I go to the mirror and see, have I made it hard for that person to connect with me?
Yeah, I hear your question. I don't think so. And
Okay.
I'm only saying that because the way I responded to that was, hey, I would love to do that for them, and I support you. Let's get it on our financial timeline so we can figure out where we can do that for them.
Understood.
And she decided to hone in on the fact of, she needs my approval or something, and she's saying that she doesn't need it because she paid off all this debt.
Okay.
And I just don't feel like that's us on the same page.
So that tells me, and John, strike me out of the conversation at any point. But what this is telling me is there was some part of her, while that process was happening, that she was doing it, but she didn't really want to do it, or she was feeling a type of way and never voiced it, and now it's kind of like resentment is there, which you gotta nip that in the bud with the quickness.
Yes. Scorekeeping will destroy relationships.
Oh man. Now, can I add something else to the conversation that it could be, but I don't think it is. And again, John, come get me if I'm out here. I do think in marriage, there's times where we're trying to accomplish a greater good, or we're trying to go in the direction that we say we want to go and that we value. And one spouse will make a concession, right, in order to do so. And then there's seasons where another spouse makes more of a concession to do so. And there can be times where you're like, I feel like I'm making a lot of concessions and I want to feel like I'm being met also in the way of we're both sacrificing, right? There's a part of that. And I don't think that this is that, but I also just wanted to put space for that to be there. And if it is that, she has communicated it in a way that makes it seem like it's not that.
In a bad way, yeah. So, hey, here's your path forward, brother. It's to back completely out of the money conversation for a minute. Okay, so money fights are almost always, we've been saying this for years, money fights are almost always simply lights on the dashboard for a bigger issue under the hood. And so here's the framework I want you to use walking into this. Are you ready? Sure. I want you to say, hey, I want to have a pretty heavy conversation with you. Is now a good time? Or is this evening a good time? If she says yes, great. The next question is, the story I've made up is, okay? That's how I want you to approach her. The story I've made up is, you resent having helped me pay off these student loans. The story I'm choosing to make up is, I thought we were together and it turns out we're not. The story I'm choosing to make up is, you now feel like I owe you, that somehow I'm less than, somehow you're just going to make these decisions like a cowboy or a cowgirl. And then the next one is, here's how I feel about that. That makes me feel small, makes me feel like we're not on the same team. And give her a chance to respond to that. Because what you're talking about there is, A, you're being humble and saying, I'm making up a story here. Because you don't know what is going on in her heart and mind. And you're telling her exactly how you feel about it. And you're giving her space to say, actually, that's not happening at all. Or giving her space to say, you know what, I said that wrong. Or giving her space to say, yeah, I've been harboring a lot of resentment. And if that's the case, y'all got to deal with that now, because it will burn your marriage to the ground.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
If you come at her using you statements, you said this, you did this, she's going to wall up and fight you back, because that's the word "you" is often a declaration of war when you're mad, when you're frustrated.
And I always try and frame things when I have whenever we have like a disagreement or discussion, I always try and isolate the behavior and not the person. That way I'm not saying you are this thing. I'm saying this behavior made me feel a certain way.
Okay, I want you to go one step further. Just start the whole conversation with the letter I. I made this story up about what just happened, and I feel this kind of way about it. Okay? And because even isolating the behavior, it's kind of a workaround to an accusation, right?
Yeah.
But you saying the word I, you taking ownership, this is what I'm making up, and this is how I feel about this thing, gives her an opportunity. It's an invitation to respond. And if she says screw you, if she says I don't care, she says I've been doing all this for you, and now I'm going to finally do something for myself, y'all gotta get on the same page with that deal.
And can I just add a piece to that? If it is, I will almost, because I'm listening to this, and there's part of me that's going, you guys are newlyweds. I'm actually really glad this is coming up now instead of later. And I might add that in and say, if I'm right, if I'm feeling this and it's accurate, just hear me say I'm glad that this is happening now than later, because this is something I want to work out. Because if this is how she rolls, is going to show up in the home you buy, it's going to show up the kids you have, it's going to show up in the jobs you do or don't take, it's going to show up the rest of your life. And so getting back on the same page now, giving her an opportunity to explain, here's what I meant, here's what I was feeling, here's what's going on inside her spirit, man, that's a blessing and a gift. And like Jade said, every couple I've ever met goes through things like this. And the fact that you're having this happen